So here goes a version of my life that some of you probably haven't seen. You're going to get to hear interviews from my mom, my old boss, family, and friends that I consider family. I think the one thing you're going to notice most, though, is I wanted to be different.
My name's Andy Peters. I live here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Have worked in corporate America until I was 32. Left, turned into an entrepreneur, started investing within the stock market, cryptocurrency, forex market. And we had a few businesses that were up and running online, the brick and mortars. In 2022, my wife and I decided that we were going to change our life a little bit. Became homeschooled teachers, if you will, and now I'm just an active trader. So stay-at-home dad, active trader. I consider myself semi-retired. Now we're just enjoying the life with our kids.
Andy is like no one else. He is, it's like when God made him, he broke the mold. I mean, there's no one else like Andy. I mean, he sets his mind to things and he plans it and he knows what he has to do to accomplish whatever goals he sets forth. So it's very, very special.
You know, if I'm going to really sum up Andy Peters, you know, and people want to know kind of what's the secret. They follow him. They look to him for leadership. They actually, more than anything, look to him for inspiration because they see where he's been and where he's going. And I'll get to that. But I'm going to tell you, after the success, you always come back to family. And in a lot of ways, I'm jealous. I worked so hard through college and medical school and residency and fellowship. And a lot of the years that I wanted to spend more time with my boys, I didn't get to. And I see him taking off like a rocket, but he always makes time for his family, for his wife, for his kids, and for his friends. So I know what people want to hear. They want to hear the success. They want to hear what makes, the secret sauce. Man, I'm going to tell you, the secret sauce is never forgetting that in the end of the day, what you really have is your family and your friends. And every time we even have a function, kids are always there. And I love it. That's really the secret sauce. But if you want to get to the details of what it really takes to do the things that he's doing, it's grit. Period. That's it. So, like, look at a night like this. It's actually, you can't tell through the lens, but it's cold. It's snowing. Doesn't faze me a bit. I have a little gym out there. In fact, my favorite time to hit the gym is when it's raining and when it's cold. I like to hit it when it's raining and it's cold and I've had a long day and I'm tired, because I know those are the times when I'm going to work out that no one else will. That's Andy. People will look at the cars. They're going to look at the house. They're going to look at the things, success. But they're going to be totally non-observant during the times where he was bearing down. It's the grit. They weren't going to be there. They want to hear after it's all said and done. They're going to see the flash. They're going to see the color, right? And he's going to tell people what he did, but it's uninteresting. It's not good for film. It's not good to show all the boring, just sitting there hours and hours and hours, maybe behind a computer. Maybe it's just researching. Maybe it's getting out and doing what it takes. But at the end of the day, that's actually the magic. But it's okay. People are attracted to the flash. But I'm going to tell you, the secret sauce to Andy Peters is grit.
So Central High School is where I attended my last few years of high school. I dropped out my senior year when I was 17 years old. There was opportunities in front of me, to race dirt bikes and some side gigs and hustling that I wanted to pursue. So I stopped there and left the school system. It was something I was kind of bored with. You know, I do preach that kids do need good education. You need to go through school. You really need that structure. But for myself, I was just completely bored with it. And I knew that there was more out there that I could jump ahead of now. I wasn't into the norm of going through school, going through college, come out and then hope that I make it. And that's what I saw a lot of my friends doing that were older, was they're going through college, they're getting out of college, and now they're searching for their jobs and they're still confused. And I was like, you know, if I can leave high school at 17, if a dirt bike career goes well, awesome. If it doesn't, just hustle and grind. By the time I'm 22 to 24, I've already got, 5 to 6 years under my belt on some of these kids, and my life would be completely different. And obviously it panned out, for the good side of the benefit. So yeah, there were times when I dropped out of high school that I questioned it, because obviously it wasn't an easy road. As you're going to get these jobs and you're talking to people, especially when you have a family that was geared towards college. All of my cousins went to college. My dad and his family, they all went to college. So for myself, I knew my family's history with college, and it did well for them. And then I looked at friends that I once went to high school with, and I saw them going through college and things that they were doing. And it did put a little regret, a little bit, like, man, I could have gotten a degree that could have placed me maybe in a better job. There's always those thoughts in your head. And I think it was signified once I got into my mid-20s to 26. And here I am, at this point in time, I've got 2 or 3 cars. But when I was 25, I actually had 3 cars at that point. My wife and I, had already been married. We were living our good life, and I still had friends and family of which that were, coming out of college trying to find the route that they wanted to take. Some of them had already found, the road that they wanted to travel, but was still a little confused on where that road was going to take them. They didn't know if that's where they were going to be forever. So it wasn't ideal as far as I guess my time was concerned, because I was working a ton, I was grinding, and life wasn't always ideal. You're going to hear throughout this filming that we do of the struggles I had, from me and Hannah being on top of the world, having 6, 7 cars in our driveway, to being completely broke. And when I say completely broke, most people would say, well, you still have a little bit of money in the bank. And it was like, no, there was no money. We were completely broke. We had 2 of our cars repossessed. It wasn't the ideal situation you wanted to be into just getting married. So during those times is when you think, like, am I doing the right thing? Should I have went to college? Should I have followed the path that most, people in America follow? And I just kept telling myself, I wrote down a goal, I'm journaling this goal, and I'm going to follow it through. And that's where I was blessed to have someone like my wife that stood by me, because I look back at everything we went through as a couple, and it's like, whoa, that's a lot for someone to stay with someone over.
We went from having to sell things to get formula for Lainey. Lainey had to have a very expensive formula. She was lactose intolerant, and 12 years ago, that was not something that was easy to find for formula. So we would have to scratch up money to get her 1 bottle of formula, only to turn around and eat cheese and crackers so that she had formula. And then going from that to having our cars repoed because there wasn't enough money to make sure that the car payments were being made, to us, Andy and I, sleeping 3 or 4 hours, working into like 3, 4, or 5 o'clock in the morning, on to me getting up with kids 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, making sure they're going to school, making sure that they're fed, had breakfast, the whole 9 yards of being a parent. And then went from that to us being able to work much smaller hours and with our businesses, and then from that to being able to be retired and then do homeschooling with our kids, where we're with them all the time, and being able to take vacations, and just having a way more luxury of life that most people don't have, especially at our age.
Even though he's gone through hard times, people don't see that now. They see the way he is now, but it has not always been that way. Oh yeah, he's gone through some rough times. He's had, like you had mentioned, all the jobs he's had, starting out detailing cars, mowing yards, doing commercial carpet cleaning restaurants. I mean, he's done everything, newspaper routes, just trying to make more money. Even though he had a full-time job, it was like he was always striving to do better. And he used to do a little pie chart. I have seen this pie chart. I can see it in my mind. And he would say, Mom, look, 24 hours in a day. You got 8 hours, maybe 9 hours at your job. And then after that, you've got another 16 hours to do what you want to do. So there's no point in people saying, oh, I don't know how I'm going to make money, because you got a job, and then even after your job, you can go out and make more money doing something else. And then when you get through doing that, you can go home and sleep a few hours and get up and do the same thing the next day. So, yeah, I mean, people don't see the past because you don't always put the bad things out there on social media. You know, you present on social media what you want people to see. They don't see you going for days without sleep, or all you have to eat is rice and beans and you don't have any other, food. You're just like, okay, we're going to make it. This is what we're going to do. So Andy, he's a survivor. He's a fighter. And thing of it is, whatever situation he was in, he'd say, Mom, this ain't going to get me down. I'm going to do this. So yeah, I mean, I think he's done great. But people now will see him and go, wow, must be nice. But they didn't see the years and years and years and years of work that it took to get him where he is today.
When I turned 16 years old, I knew that there was more to life than just existing. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know how many kids I was going to have. I didn't even know if I was going to be married. But I said I wanted to prepare for it.